Hello, today I'm making pozole. You will need 2 pounds of either chicken or pork, 1 8-ounce can of tomato sauce, 2 tablespoons of jar garlic or fresh if you have it, onion chunks, about a quarter teaspoon of cumin, and 2 bay leaves. I'm going to set this for 4 hours. I'll come back and check it. I'll probably turn it and cook it some more. Here I have 4 cans of golden hominy and Las Palmas, 2 cans of red chili sauce. It's very important that it's red chili sauce and not enchilada sauce. I have some cumin and I have some Mexican oregano. This is the brand that I use typically. It's just easy to order, easy to find. I will also be using Nor Caldo de Palo chicken bouillon. I'll be using it to make 12 cups of chicken broth. Here I have a large sweet onion, minced. You can use purple onion if you want. You can use yellow onion, white onion. Personally, I prefer Peruvian sweet onion or Fidelia sweet onions. So that's what this is. Here I have chopped cilantro. You can get cilantro in the produce section, probably cheaper, and just chop it yourself. The onion and cilantro are for garnish. You can also use sliced radishes, thin sliced, also sliced avocado. Here I have sliced 3 limes into wedges, 8 wedges each, because I just can't handle Mexican food without lime. You could also get key limes and just slice them in half. Either one will work. When your pork or chicken is really tender and you can actually shred it with a fork, you want to remove it from the crock pot. It took about 5 hours for what I'm cooking here. So it cooked for 4 hours, and then I put it on the 8-hour setting and cooked it for an additional hour. So I started with the 4-hour setting, went to the 8-hour setting, and I turned it occasionally so it wouldn't get really done on the bottom, and so just so it would cook evenly. What I'll do is I'll remove all the fat and anything that's undesirable, and then I'll shred it with a fork, and then I'll cut it into smaller pieces. If I'm doing this for a family gathering, I will put the meat in the soup last, because some people don't eat pork. And so I'll have chicken in one bowl and pork in another, and they can just add the meat that they want. Okay, so in this 10-quart pot, I have 2 cans of Las Palmas medium red chili sauce, and I have 4 cans of drained hominy. I have some shredded chicken in a bowl, and then I have some shredded pork in a bowl, because some people just don't eat pork, don't like pork, and vice versa. If you have a vegetarian, you can boil some potatoes and maybe some other vegetables for them, because this Las Palmas red chili sauce is vegetarian and vegan according to my research. Not sure about the gluten-free part, but I think it is. So be sure to look that up. Make sure if you have to be gluten-free. So anyway, let's get started. Now we're going to add 1 teaspoon of cumin and 2 teaspoons of Mexican oregano. Now I've added 1/4 cup of diced onion, minced onion, and we're going to add about a teaspoon to a tablespoon of jar garlic. That looks more like a tablespoon. Stir it all up, turn the heat on high, and bring this to a boil. Now here, I'm going to start with 3 cups of hot water, and 3 teaspoons of the Nor Caldo de Palo bouillon. If you're serving vegetarians, you'll want to use a vegetable bouillon instead of caldo de palo. Now, I added the chicken broth that I just made using the water and the caldo de palo, and I'm going to give it a taste, see where we're at. If I need to add more, I'll add more. I think that's pretty good. So, if you need to water it down, so to speak, to serve more people, it's 1 cup of hot water per teaspoon of bouillon, and you just keep repeating that process until you get where you're at. But for me, this is just right. And like I said, if I was serving vegetarians, I would use the vegetable bouillon instead of the chicken. I took a couple of these lime wedges and gave them a squeeze, put them in the broth because I think it needed a little brightening. But, you know, I have this whole jar here that I'm going to serve on the side as a garnish so people can add it to taste, but I just thought it could use a little boost ahead of time. Okay, so I put a couple of scoops of the broth and the hominy. Then I added the meat. Looks really good. And if you have some thin slices of radish, that's really nice to serve as a garnish too. Also, some thin slices of avocado. I just don't have any right now, so I can get by with lime slices, onion, and cilantro. Okay, so that's how it all shakes down. I know it's not fancy, it's kind of humble, but we're not in a restaurant. We're just at my house, which is no big deal. Anyway, so how much does this make? I have 5 containers here, and each one has a little over 2 cups, and then this is a cup. So we have about 11.5 cups. Now, like I said, you can add water and chicken bouillon to this until you get the consistency and the taste and the amount of liquid that you want.